Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that honestly seems super simple on the surface, but it's actually hiding some absolutely brilliant educational design. We're going to be deconstructing the Little Rainbow Friends. Now, when you hear a standard sing-a-rhyme for kids, it is so easy to just hear a catchy tune, maybe bop your head and move on. But today, we're going to explore this specific rhyme as a fascinating case study in early childhood engagement. We'll see exactly how it uses things like sensory language, physical movement, and shifting perspectives to totally captivate young minds. Okay, so right out of the gate, everything starts with the hook. This is the very first thing the audience hears, and it's set against this really lovely sound of morning birds singing. Good morning, little friends. Let's sing, dance, and learn together. Think about what this is actually accomplishing in just a couple of seconds. The narrator doesn't just start throwing facts or colors at the listener. Instead, they instantly establish this warm, totally inclusive, and highly active learning environment. By saying, let's sing, dance, and learn together, the rhyme is essentially handing the child a personalized invitation to participate. It's not about passively consuming. It sets the expectation right away that this is going to be a dynamic, fun experience. Section 1. Welcome to the Rainbow. Let's peel back the layers. And that brings us to Section 2. Warm colors and tasty treats. So before we look at the specific lyrics, we need to define the core educational mechanism at play here, which is sensory association. This is basically the practice of pairing a totally abstract concept, like in this case, colors, with a familiar, tangible object to really aid memory and understanding. Think about it. If you just tell a toddler red, orange, yellow, well, that's just abstract data floating in the air. But if you connect those colors to things they can actually touch, taste, or feel, boom, you create a memory anchor. And what's wild is how this rhyme deploys this technique with just absolute precision right from the very first line. Let's see how it builds this. Notice how verse 1 deliberately pairs warm colors with highly sensory, familiar, and very close-up experiences. First up, we've got red, and it's paired with an apple. Its trait is shiny and sweet. Then orange is paired with a carrot, which is crunchy to eat. And finally, yellow is the sunshine, warm and bright. Notice a pattern there? The first two are literally edible. They are things a toddler can actually put in their mouth. It completely grounds the abstract idea of a color into the immediate physical world of taste, touch, and temperature. It's just a remarkably sticky way to learn. All right, moving on to Section 3, the power of movement. Let's look at the chorus. Now, you can't just feed facts to kids nonstop, right? Their brains need a break. Enter the chorus. Rainbow, rainbow, up so high, colors dancing in the sky. This acts as this playful, highly energetic reset between the learning-heavy verses. It shifts the focus completely away from specific, tangible objects down on the ground and pulls the listener's attention upward, up to the sky. And this is crucial because it keeps the audience's attention locked in by changing up the pacing and the visual imagery. But actually, it's not just a visual reset. It is a deeply physical one. Check this out. The chorus is actually a multi-layered set of instructions disguised as a dance break. It's so clever. First, you have spatial awareness. Rainbow up high, meaning literally look up. Second, there's a gross motor physical command, clap your hands in the first chorus and then jump around in the second. Third, there's a hidden math lesson tucked in there, 1, 2, 3, or count to 3. And finally, a prompt to vocalize, come and sing along with me. In just 4 lines of text, this sing rhyme for kids triggers spatial, physical, mathematical, and vocal engagement. It's an astonishingly dense packet of cognitive and physical instructions that to a kid just feels like playing. Which leads us beautifully into Section 4, cool colors in nature. So, once that energetic reset is complete and the wiggles are out, the rhyme settles right back into learning mode. Verse 2 introduces the cool colors, green, blue, and purple. But look at the objects and traits being used this time around. Green is paired with the leaves on every tree. Blue is the ocean, deep as can be, and purple is the grape, so small. We've completely moved away from those simple, held-in-your-hand items. Now we're talking about vast environmental concepts, literally every tree, the deep ocean, and then sharply zooming all the way back in on a tiny little grape. The rhyme is actively scaling the imagery up and down. Now what's really interesting here is the contrast. When we compare the close-up of the apple and carrot in verse 1 to the sweeping ocean wave or the entire forest in verse 2, we are seeing a deliberate expansion of the child's worldview. Verse 1 is highly immediate, right? It's an apple or a carrot right in front of your face. But verse 2 is expansive. It points outward to the broader environment. It's subtly teaching the child that colors aren't just properties of their immediate food or toys, they are the fundamental building blocks of the entire vast world around them. It is a brilliant, subtle shift in scale. Section 5, a perfect positive goodbye. Let's talk about the outro. As we approach the end of the rhyme, it becomes clear that this careful construction doesn't just stop with the educational content. After the final chorus, the narrator comes back to say, "Bye-bye, little friends. See you in the next fun adventure. Don't forget to smile, sing, and be kind every day." This frames the conclusion of the whole experience with pure emotional intelligence. It doesn't just abruptly cut to black, right? It distills actionable, positive advice. It leaves the young audience with character-building reinforcement, literally reminding them to smile, sing, and be kind. Plus, it builds anticipation by promising a next fun adventure, which ensures the child associates this learning experience with joy and eagerly awaits the next one. And, finally, we do have to acknowledge the reality of where this media lives today. Woven right into the fabric of this classic educational structure is an anchor to the modern digital landscape. We see reminders to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It's just a fascinating juxtaposition, this really timeless early childhood pedagogy paired perfectly with very modern digital calls to action.
So we've seen how The Little Rainbow Friends takes a seemingly standard sing-a-rhyme for kids and turns it into a masterfully structured tool for real engagement. By grounding abstract ideas in sensory reality, by using movement as a much-needed cognitive reset, and by ending on a deeply emotionally intelligent note, it creates a perfectly balanced learning loop. So I want to leave you with this to think about. How can you apply this incredibly effective, simple structure of color, movement, and kindness to your own daily interactions, teaching moments, or even your own creative projects? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating topic today. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.